Yeah, this is about Brent and the hot plate. Now, Brent is a third grade teacher. He's got a science class, and so he got himself saved from some kind of a fiery disaster simply because he forgot something. Now, he was with his third grade class, and he was working with the Celsius thermometer. So he'd say to the class, okay, what's this read? What's the room temperature? Somebody would say this room temperature. And then he'd take another container and he'd put in a whole lot of ice. And after a while, he'd ask somebody, all right, read or report the temperature to the class in Celsius. Okay. And so they did that. Then he also did it for boiling water. He says, all right. He picked a student. He says, all right, now when this hits boiling, you tell the class what's boiling. Temperature, not water. That's in case the kid asks. You got to be ready. And so this is all going. And then suddenly he looked at the clock. It was just about dismissal time. And see, he had a dental appointment. And it was one of those that maybe is not such a happy dental appointment. So he had an hour to get there. So he tells the class, scoot. Well, he didn't say scoot exactly. He said, get out. Or let me out. Okay. So anyway, he drove off to the dentist, and on his way home, this is some 2 hours later, he was driving along the road, just happy as can be, and then the inner master speaks to him, says, you left the hot plate on. See, he had enamel pot with boiling water in it. Well, an enamel pot isn't going to last long. And so all of a sudden he could see a disaster happening back in the lab at school. So he said, should I drive really, really quick and get there? And he says, no, I better not do that because it's too slow. So he called up the office of the school, and it was fortunate to get the office manager who was still there. So he explained the whole situation, what a dumb fool thing he'd done, having gone to the dentist, an appointment, everything. It got just such a muddle. And then she says she'd take care of it. She'd go over there and unplug the hot plate. So a little bit later, he's driving as fast as he can, and he calls back, and she says, I pulled the plug, goodbye. And he's wondering, he says she didn't say anything about smoke, damage, nothing. And so what happened? So all night long he can't sleep. He's just tossing and turning and waiting for the sun to come up, because his usual time to go to school is at 6:30. But before he does any of that, he does a a little declaration where he declares himself a vehicle for the Sugmad, the Ek, and the Mahanta. And then after he does this little declaration or dedication, then he's ready to meet the day. So then off he went, to school, and he's just wondering, but before he left, he did his spiritual exercises. And the master told him, said to him, remember, you are protected. Like, just can't get the message through to Brent, So Brent takes off for school, gets there at 6:30 is when he usually got there, rushes in, no smoke smell, nothing burnt, runs to the lab, and everything's okay. He looks in the pot, it's still on the little hot plate, but the water hadn't gone down. It should have gone down because it's a fast little hot plate. And the water should have boiled it away. And he looked at it and he said, no water boiled away. What's the matter? Is this hot plate not working anymore? So he plugs it in the wall and it heats right up. And he unplugs it because it was an ancient one. It was very simple. All it had was push the plug in the wall and the heat comes on, and in just a few seconds, you got boiling water. And he looked it over and he just couldn't understand it because it belied understanding. It didn't make sense. But being a member of ECKANKAR and somewhat acquainted with the ways of the Holy Spirit, because there are many ways it shows up, he says, okay, I can live with it. The Master this year now he introduces the Inner Master, which is really the Ek, or the Holy Spirit, manifested. And he says that's how it works. It helped me, and that's all he needed to know.